I asked people to recommend me books they didn't like, and now I'm reading them. And today we are revisiting Our Infinite Fates, which was the 10th book of the challenge, and this is its 7 Elements of Story review. And in case this is your first one, I am going to take the 7 Elements of Story from Wonder Book, which are characterization, POV, setting, events, situations, dialogue, description, and style, and I'm going to rate them on the 1 to 5 star scale, along with giving some of my thoughts as to why I feel that way. Starting with characterization, which I'm going to give 3.25 stars. I feel like I didn't really know Evelyn and Arden by the end of the book. I do feel like their behavior was pretty consistent with what I did know about them. I do have to kind of take into consideration here the span of time over which this book takes place. It's really not that long. And it could be just me, but I feel like they didn't really grow that much. And I didn't really feel their epic love at all. Their whole relationship to me came in the form of like telling me that they feel a certain way as opposed to showing me how they fell in love, why they love each other. Action speaks a lot louder than words from that standpoint, and I don't feel like we got that. And it's a shame because reincarnated characters that remember their past lives, like that has so much potential. And I feel like even with that detail, like Evelyn and Arden were not that interesting to me. POV, I'm going to give 4 stars. It was first person following Evelyn, except for the first and last chapters. I think that made perfect sense, especially because Evelyn is very unreliable. And it was neat to see how her style of narration changed with all the lives that she lived. In all the flashbacks, her tone was a little bit different. How she spoke was a little bit different, but the core of her was still there. And I thought that that was really cool. Like we wouldn't have gotten that same experience if we weren't directly inside her mind. Setting, I'm going to give 3.5 stars. I think that the best parts of the book were the flashbacks. I have my own qualms with them, which I will get to, but getting to visit all of those different times and places and events in world history was very cool. So we got to bounce around to a lot of different settings, and I thought that that was really unique. The modern setting was fine, but if that was supposed to feel like the most important place, it definitely didn't, at least not to me. Events and situations, I'm also going to give 3.5 stars. This is a very character-driven book. I need to lead with that. So getting to see the manifestation of Evelyn and Arden's relationships throughout time was really cool. But in a more character-driven book, I feel like flashbacks like that need to teach you more about the character. I didn't feel like they did all the time. And the flashbacks were short. It was very much just a quick snapshot of a memory or a point in time, which is fine. But we almost never went back to the same place twice. And so it was really just like a blink and you miss it. Now, even knowing that this is a more character-driven book, I have qualms with the ending. It didn't feel satisfying at all. But again, part of that could have been my utter lack of investment in the characters. Dialogue, 3.5 stars. In the modern timeline, the dialogue was definitely awkward and repetitive. In each of the different lives that we visit, again, it was cool because the way that they speak to each other, the dialogue style is adapted for that particular time or place or culture, which I thought was very neat. But it did often feel like they were having the exact same conversation over and over again throughout their past lives, but also in the present day. New details came around very sparingly, and the refusal to communicate, especially on Arden's part, was very frustrating. Description, 3.75 stars. Similarly to the dialogue, the description style also changed depending on where in the world or where in history we were. It was very clearly researched, and that was a really unique element. It felt balanced with the dialogue in terms of volume, but I think the description was orders of magnitude more powerful when it came to actually learning things that pushed the story forward, because again, the character's refusal or like struggle to communicate really held that back in terms of an actual device to learn and share things with the reader, because they weren't sharing things with each other. The description did a lot of the heavy lifting from that standpoint, I think. And then lastly, style, 3.75 stars. Parts of this book were written beautifully. Can't deny that. It wasn't overly descriptive. It was easy to read. It was easy to follow along with the exception of the ending. I don't typically like flashbacks. They were really short, so it was kind of blink and you miss it. They weren't really developed. And some of them didn't teach us anything about the characters or move the plot forward, in my opinion. We saw the various relationships Evelyn and Arden had over time, sure, but like if we're not invested in the characters, then I'm not really going to care about that. The best part of the flashbacks at that point became getting to see different points in time. So I think that they missed the impact that they were intended to have. Overall, 3.5 star book. Was it for me? No, not necessarily, and that's okay.